They were asked about Bo Bichette. Let's play Shapiro's answer on this. He was asked about Bo, and they qualified him today, and he's going to hit free agency, and he's going to test the market. That seems inevitable at this point, and there likely will be a very large market for Bo Bichette. And here's what Mark Shapiro had to say on that.
My comments on Bo are more just appreciation for what he's meant here. It's more appropriate for Ross to comment on what he'll mean going forward. As I reflected on his ability and toughness and desire to be on the field in the condition he was in during the postseason, and his ability to still provide some of the most important lift, in the World Series. But that was only, the explanation point on what's been an unbelievable career here.
So what I appreciate about that is, remember Shapiro when he was asked about Vladdy, he was very careful to commit publicly, to show his hand publicly.
Well, he was asked, Brian, if he was a generational talent, and he didn't want to dive into that type of language.
Right.
He didn't want to dive into.
And he didn't say he was. Now,
No,
I'm guessing he'd have a different answer after the last month and a half.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Mark might address that differently today. But I guess what I'm saying is I appreciate the fact that it's business time. The World Series over, and it sucks. But now you can't have emotion, and you've got to try to win every transaction. And if you're the Blue Jays, you have a budget. And I get the impression they want to keep Bo, because Ross later said, they'll be in the market for Bo Bichette, which would suggest to me, if you're going to say that, you have to sign him. Because if you're in the market, that means you want him, and how could there be an excuse for anyone outpaying you? If you really want Bo Bichette and he really wants to be here, unless he doesn't, unless he was paying lip service and playing the crowd, and I love Toronto and I want to be here,
but
and it was all bogus.
You just said it is business. What if an organization like the Yankees presents a number where you just don't want to get to for him?
Yes.
That's got to be out there. I don't know if the fan base would be so pissed off if Ross came back and he said the Yankees or the Dodgers or some other organization, and it might be an organization like the Diamondbacks or the Royals that want to make a splash, and they just offered him something that the Jays just weren't comfortable getting to, knowing his past injury history, and they just didn't want to get there.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that could happen, man.
Yeah, and that might speak to what I just said. Shapiro goes into business mode and isn't going to 100% commit.
The executives know when they're asked these things, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If they have a chance. Remember, I hate to bring it back to the Leafs, but every time Tree Living was asked about Marner, I was like, he knows he's not coming back. But what's he supposed to say? Mm-hmm. We love Mitch. It's the same.
We're going to be in conversation with his representatives. They know.
I got to think they know if he's staying or not.
To what extent, though? What the numbers are going to look like?
You don't think he's had conversations with the agent
he knows
all through the playoffs? These people are talking to each other a lot.
Yes, I agree with that. I'm just
saying.
It's not
like this stuff just pops up and it's like, hey, remember my guy Bo Bichette? He's unrestricted now.
Mm-hmm.
They're always in conversations, unless you're playing the waiting game and you're delaying, and then you want to. I don't know in depth what goes on behind the scenes in baseball negotiations, but it's not like this just crept up on these gentlemen.
Well, where it gets sticky is how long it can take into the offseason. This is not a July 1st and everyone signs league. So what if Bo is slow rolling it and you get into January, into the beginning of February?
Bregman was right before spring training, I
know, but he left. He didn't stay in Houston.
I know.
And that's what I'm saying. What if it's a dance between the Jays and Bo and it's February 1st? What do you do?
I think Bregman was a dance where it was Houston, and then all of a sudden it was just Houston's out.
And Boston, here I come. And now he's opted out and he's a free agent again.
I know.
Are there any of these guys you would prefer over Bichette?
Well, I would prefer Kyle Tucker, I think, if that's what you're asking.
Only one?
I'd have to look at the list. There's some pretty good starting pitchers.
Dependent?
Well, there's a budget. We don't know what that budget is.
Right.
But they have a budget for this year and the next 3, 5, 10 years. And Vladdy's deal kicks in next year, but they do have flexibility, but you got to fill out a roster. Right? You've got to fill out a roster here. Bichette, it's difficult to get a read on the number. I don't think it's going to be crazy.
Is
here
it
or elsewhere.
200s? Is it?
I'm not sure it gets to 2. It might.
It's 100% going to start with a 2.
But then that would be a long-term deal, though. If it's a 2, that's a long-term deal.
No kidding. But his negotiation is going to be, if I'm tied to the hip with Vladdy and his starts with a 5, you don't think mine at least starts with a 2? Like, that would be his starting point, dude.
ESPN projected 5 years, 130.
No way, man. I would bet my life on his contract starting with a 2. My life.
Now, it may start with a 2, but then it's probably 8 years. 210, 215. Like, it might be the same amount of dollar amount per year. It's just instead of a 5-year deal, it's an 8-year deal or a 9-year deal.
Yeah, it's 26 per is what they have.
Which, that seems about right. You know, Bichette, he's a really good hitter, and he had a really good season. Now, he has had injury problems throughout his career. He has slowed down. I'm not even talking about the PCL injury he had. His not like they have the speed that he runs the bases. It is a lot slower. There has always been this conversation, where should he play? I think the way Jimenez played short would suggest to me Jimenez should be your everyday shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jimenez was flawless playing short. So in Toronto, if you're fielding the best team, I think Bichette should play second base. What comes with that is they don't get paid as much as shortstops. Like, these are all things that need to be figured out. So you can say they have an idea. I think the only chance they know what's going to happen with Bichette is if they know he's leaving. That's the only thing I think they would be certain of, that he's leaving. He wants a new lease on life somewhere else. But if he's staying, I'm not convinced Shapiro and Atkins know exactly what that looks like.
I don't think that. I think sometimes as a player, you don't know what's out there and how life could be different. Like, you go on a plane. I believe that Judge hopped on a bird and he was spotted out in San Francisco just before he ultimately signed with the Yankees. And you just get into a certain city and you see what's available. Not that it should be anything new to a guy that's been around the block. Like, you pretty much know what's going on in the big leagues at different ballparks, facilities. But I don't know. I think once you start touring around and teams are just literally throwing everything at you, that they just love you, that's when you kind of get an idea that maybe things could be different in a different city.
Yeah, like, imagine he goes to visit Yankee Stadium and they take him around and,
Yeah.
Well, I can understand that. But
would you rather...
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, you guys are assuming that other teams are just going to be reckless with Bo, of all players.
I'm not saying reckless. I just think there's going to be probably some... You don't think the Yankees would have interest in Bo Bichette?
I think they would, but why would they pay him $50 million more than the Jays would?
Because that's just what the Yankees do.
I don't think they do
don't
anymore. Like, it's the big Steinbrenner's not around anymore.
Okay, but
like
last
Hal
year they didn't do
Steinbrenner.
it with Soto. It was 700, not 200 or 180.
Right.
I think in a situation of 180 or 235, the Yankees would do it. A, because there's a bat in the lineup, and B, because they're pissing off the Blue Jays.
But that, I guess, is where I would counter with, like, the Jays, 15, 20 million is going to make you so uncomfortable, you're going to say no. That, to me, would be unacceptable. Like,
you just said they have a budget.
Yes, and is there a number that makes it uncomfortable or unfeasible where you say, we're not doing it? Sure, but I don't think it's over the course of a long-term deal, the difference of $15, $20 million is my point. And if the budget, yes, you have a budget. Is there some flexibility? There generally is.
What if there's someone you prefer more for?
Well, let me run off the names.
Bregman is a good example.
Bregman, possibly.
The price is similar. He's a third baseman. He can play second.
Yes.
He's older.
He's older. He has won before, but he is older. You don't know what he's about. Like, he's a pretty good player.
He's a winner.
He's a winner, and he's one of those guys
Springer,
that they like.
I don't know.
Well, it's Tucker, Schwarber, Bellinger, Bregman, Alonso, Bichette. Like, these are the big names that are out there. Josh Naylor, but he plays first or DH, so that's not going to work. Suarez, you can see them kicking tires on that. I mean,
there's no way they're spending on Tucker. Like, they're not spending $400.
Tucker's looking at huge money. Yeah, I would find that very surprising if they doubled down on Vladdy and Tucker kicking in at the same time. But there's a right-handed bat, left-handed bat, both in their mid to late 20s. You team them up for the next decade, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch. I just don't see this front office having the appetite to do that. And Schwarber is going to DH. That's not going to work. Like, with Springer for a year left, he's going to DH next year. I don't see them going down that road.
Bellinger.
They kicked tires on Bellinger before. Maybe.
Bellinger,
That's why
there's something about him. He just doesn't.
That's why I'd come back to Bichette. Like, Bo, you know who he is. You know what he's got. You've got a built-in marketing campaign that's going to play really well with your fan base. Like, everyone knows him. We've known him for a decade. Everyone knows Bo Bichette. It's an easy sell, and you just got to find out what makes sense money-wise, obviously. I mean, that goes without saying. It's a business. And you might have to – what'll be interesting is you mentioned the Judge thing, and it's a perfect example. The Yankees basically said, go ahead, man. Go check out what's out there. Come back to us when you're ready, with confidence that he would. That should probably apply here. Like, if you really want to be here, you can't lowball him. You're not gonna try to cut him out at the knees. But if you really want to be here, we just lost in the 11th inning, Game 7 World Series. We'll be in the ballpark of whatever anyone else is, but we're not going to get crazy. We're not going to get.
Are you saying to
fleeced by
him,
you.
we're bringing you back as a second baseman, and there's no?
I think you have
discussion?
to have that honest conversation.
Because what if he says, like, I don't want to play second base, I'm going to go play shortstop somewhere else?
That is where the rubber hits the road. Because based on, like, Jimenez is just a better defender, and he was phenomenal at short throughout the playoffs. And you're probably looking at Clement playing third, although that's up for debate. But yeah, I would have that conversation with him, and I would expect.
But is that a red line? Like, is that like there's?
You'd have to ask Bo Bichette.
No, I'm asking you. Would that be like a red line if you're the Jays? You're a second baseman. That's not.
It would. Yes, it would be a red line for me. That I think if we're signing you long term,
I would bet you, Hayes. He says, when I come back, man, I'm healthy. I'm playing shortstop.
Yeah,
That's
he might.
what I am.
He might.
Said that. He said we talked about it for years. Is this guy shortstop? Is his glove good enough? Is his arm good enough? He's probably saying, I'm playing shortstop, man.
I'm not.
Jimenez is a natural second baseman, is he not?
Yes, he has historically played second, and he did this year, and he did in Cleveland. But he's proven like he's like an A++ Gold Glove defensive player that would probably be comfortable either way. Like Jimenez would be probably happy to go to second base.
Well, he started the season.
Yeah, of course. That's what he's predominantly played throughout his career. I don't know if I'm getting into bed long term. I'm signing a long term deal with Bichette. You can't give him a guarantee he's playing short his whole career. That doesn't happen. Like, I'm sure when George Springer signed here, he said, I'm playing center field, right? And he said, yeah, the first couple years, and then you're moving to right field, and now you're at DH. So it may be greasy to say this. Maybe you say, yeah, you're shortstop, and to start in 26, you're shortstop. But once you've signed, we're going to figure out what happens with you in the future. That's what happened with Devers in Boston, and obviously we know that the relationship fell apart. But I don't know. I think Bo Bichette's got to be reasonable here, man. I don't think he can expect to sign anywhere long term and have a guarantee he's going to play short for the next 7-8 years of his career.